Hello on this fine day. Is it fine day? Might be raining, might be glorious sunshine, you might be snowed in, who knows? I think the weather's really fascinating, isn't it? It's always a thing that we talk about to start a conversation. And it's not just British people who do that, actually. Everybody does. Anyway, I hope the weather's doing it for you right now. You're probably stuck in an office or something and thinking, weather is irrelevant. It's the heating system, the air conditioning that's really bothering me today. Right, today we're going to talk about solopreneur. I've pinched that terminology from a LinkedIn post. I think everybody's using it now, but it kind of sums up if you want to twist your career and do what you're doing, but doing it in a different way. Solopreneur kind of sums it up. And we're going to spend the next 20 minutes exploring what that's about. I'm going to whiz through as quickly as possible, lots of things about it to start to get you thinking if it's the right thing for you. So, stick, twist, bust. If you've been following the program, you know that stick, twist, bust is the terminology I use to help you think about what your decision will be as to what you do next. You can stick with your career and what you're doing, but perhaps look to upgrade. So continue to be a project manager, a comms manager, operations, whatever you're doing, but perhaps upgrade, change location, change the kind of organization you're working for, perhaps get a bit more salary. Twist is about taking your expertise, twisting it, and creating something a little bit different in the way that you deliver it. But essentially, it's still your comfort zone, it's just delivering it in a different way. And bust is all about busting it out, doing something completely different that you've perhaps never done before, or you've done in the past and you want to revisit. So stick, twist, bust is a terminology that we use throughout the whole community to help you think about the decision you're about to make with your next move. Solopreneur probably fits into the twist category, and that's how we'll talk about it today. So twist, take your expertise, take what you're famous for, take what you are known for, what you find easy, and twist it. You use the same skill sets that you've got already. You might need to learn maybe a few different parts, or you might want to upgrade your learning, but essentially it's your skill set and it's your talent and it's your comfort zone. So the bit that you're going to twist is how you deliver it. You might deliver it in a very different way to what you've done before, and that's the stretch zone. So when we talk about comfort, stretch, and the stress zone, which we don't want to be in, but the comfort zone is something that you're very familiar with, you're very comfortable doing. Stretch is when you are going to put yourself in a position that will mean that you're going to have to outperform and really challenge yourself. So when you twist something, the comfort zone is your skill set. You're very comfortable in what you're delivering. The stretch is where you're going to really test yourself in how you do it. Here are a few options of what that twist could look like. So freelancer, we've all heard of that terminology, but what really is a freelancer? Well, it tends to be somebody who's project-based. They might operate as an agency or within an agency. They can provide portfolio work. So they might be working on a range of projects in any one day. It tends to be many clients rather than just one client, but some freelancers just freelance for one or two clients over a year. You're very much about delivery. So a freelancer tends to be the person who does the doing, and your pricing is all around probably an hour or project based. Now, all of this when I'm talking it through is the usual. It doesn't mean that it's the only option. This is just giving you ideas for how it could be structured. Interim and contractor tends to be contract based, in-house, and it tends to be single client. So you probably be working on one contract at a time. It might be a day rate or pro rata, fixed term contract. If you are looking at contracting, you need to look up the IR35 terminology, and you need to work with an accountant to make sure that your contract is very clear on if you are a limited company and therefore you are working as an interim, or are you a contractor, and therefore you're a fixed term contract. So that's a bit of the legalities, and you can just look it up. The government has a lot of great information on this, and so Google IR35 and you'll get all the information. If you're working with an agency to get your contract, they'll have all that and they'll be able to support you. A consultant tends to be working on big programs, or they will go in and do very specific work on consultation and advisory work that's their comfort zone, but they wouldn't necessarily be doing the doing. So a consultant might create some kind of briefs, and they might go in and do some research. Again, it would be probably portfolio work. They might be doing that for a couple of customers or clients at one time, but it's more advisory than delivery. It tends to be more senior or very technical experts who operate in this space, where they can go in and they can almost troubleshoot the in-house person really quickly, and they can really help them because they've got the expertise. The final option could be small business owner or agency, where you're the founder of something. And that might mean that you have got employees, or it might mean that you work with associates and you collaborate with people to make what you're doing a bigger space. So you find a lot of people on LinkedIn who will look like they're running an agency or a consultancy, but they bring in associates when they need to deliver a brief. That could be a really great way of making yourself very attractive to the big corporations who need a lot of expertise. And if you've got your network that you know people who can deliver, then that might be your option. So that's a really quick run through of some of the options that could be out there for you. But let's think about you for a minute. So your expertise. What is your talent? So if you think about your last couple of years, what does your CV look like now? What do you really think that people think you do, and what are you known for? And if you think, well, I'm not known for anything, you will be. If you've had a job, you will be known for something. Whether it's being the best till person in the local supermarket, or whether it's being the best project manager of a transformation program, you will be known for something. Have a think about what your friends and family think you do and what you're known for. And then that's your talent. That's your comfort zone. The next bit to think about that is, so with all that talent, what are you actually doing? How are you helping people? Why have people paid you in the past a salary? Why have you managed to earn money so far doing that? And think about the problems that you're solving, because those are the things that then you can then package up into your solopreneur career. And then the next bit is, why will people pay you? What's unique about you? Why would they pay you rather than someone else? Now, this question isn't there to make you think, oh, I'm not going to do it then. There's so much competition out there. Think of competition as an affirmation. An affirmation, that's not a word, is it? Think of competition as a confirmation that there is a market for what you're doing. Don't think of it as a reason not to do something. The marketplaces are always changing and forming, and even if there's someone out there that's doing something that you're wanting to do, that should make you be inspired to do it. Don't let it put you off. And last bit is about, what will you be famous for? So if you look at all of that stuff, and again, I don't mean fame as in celebrity fame, I mean, what were you known for? What's the repetitive drumbeat that you can start talking about that people will know your name associated with that? So that when it springs into their to-do list, or they're thinking about something, they automatically think, that's what so-and-so does. So have a go now at brainstorming these 4 things and see how you get on. Right. Let's have a think about your why. I'm hoping you paused the film there and you did a little bit of scribbling about your talents. And now we're going to think about your why. Why is it that you want to be a solopreneur? Why is it that you have taken the time to watch this film? What is it that's got you thinking that actually there could be a different way to earn money, to have a career? I've used Ikigai a few times in the community, so if you've gone through some of the other courses and the other modules, then you'll be familiar with this. If you haven't, Ikigai is a great book that talks about your why, and it uses these 4 circles for you to think about, why do you do what you do? Is it because you love it? Is it because you feel the world needs this? Is it because you get paid and rewarded for it? Is it because you're good at it? There's a module in the community called Why Do You Do What You Do? And it really challenges that, why are you here today doing what you do? Is it because it's been your passion, or is it because you're just good at something? Just because you're good at something doesn't mean that you have to do it for a career. There's been lots of studies around sportsmen and people like that actually they've had so much talent in their space that they're doing, they just felt like they had to do it. And then suddenly they look around and think, I don't really like doing this, I'm just really good at it. So this is your space to think about your why. Why do you do what you do? And challenge what you want to do next. Why are you doing what you're doing in the future? Let's move on. I said this is going to be a quick stop whistle tone. You can keep stopping the film if you need a bit more time to write things down and think about things. Let's now think about a bit around your positioning, your offering and your role. So even as a solopreneur, you can position yourself as very different offering to people, depending on how you describe your service. I've put here from strategy to tactics. If you're someone who's a big thinker, who can think strategically, to someone who's very tactical and likes delivering and the detail. And then across, we've got someone who likes delivering, doing the do, and then advisor. You can start mapping out where, again, your comfort zone is, or what your offering should be. If you have a great strategic mind and you're great at offering advice and talking and coaching people through the things that they should be doing, then that could be your space. If you're very strategic, but you kind of like a bit more hands-on in doing it, then the delivery strategy would be your space. If you're a do the doing, you like the tactics and getting on with stuff, then the bottom square is your space and how you describe what you offer. And then the final space is around tactics and advisory. Perhaps you're obviously brilliant at what you're doing, and you could run workshops to help other people do the same thing. Again, think about what you are really good at now, or what you would really like to be doing. Some of it you might need to learn. Some of it you might need to go back and do some courses. So if you want to be a coach, you might want some coaching training. If you want to be a facilitator, you might want to go and find some facilitation training. But this just really helps you to describe what you're offering, and it makes it really clear to someone what they are getting and what they're not. It avoids the awkwardness when someone thinks that you're doing something, but you are actually just coaching them. It avoids that kind of awkwardness when you believe that you needed to do lots of stuff, but actually they just wanted advice. So really spend time here thinking about where you want to be in the future. How do you want to be delivering what you're doing? And this next one is about the how. So quality versus quantity, how you deliver that. So the last slide was all about the what, and this is all about the how. Are you delivering really bespoke projects for people that are very specific to their brief? Or have you developed a method or a systematic way of delivering something that can be off the shelf? And then across the horizontal line is value premium. Are you charging a high price for it? Or are you value driven? This will really help you form your proposition, and it will help your marketing, and it will help you think about how you talk to clients and customers about your offer. It's also essential in your business planning because it will help you understand how many clients you need in a month, where your hours will be, where will you need to put energy. So if you're very bespoke and premium, you might just need one big client a month to hit your target. If you're offering value and off the shelf, you might need a few clients, but not too many because you're not doing too much work. You just need lots of clients. If it's bespoke and value, then be really careful because personalization and that kind of thing can take up a lot of time, but you might not be getting your target in. But it might be relevant in some spaces, and especially when you're getting started, you might be offering. Now, if you want to explore this in a bit more detail, then drop me an email and I'm happy to jump on a call with you to go through your offer. As I said, this is a little bit of a whiz through just to get ideas going, but you can really spend a lot of time really thinking about your offer. Next bit is pricing yourself, and we've already touched on that in the last slide around value or premium. But let's do some practical scribbles. First one, what do you need to earn? So again, if you've been in the community, you would have maybe done the numbers module, which is around what do you actually need each month to earn to make a living, bottom line. Next one is what do you want to earn? What's your ambition? What's your stretch? Scribble it down, whatever that might be. And again, if you've done the modules in the past, you'll have perhaps created a priority list of how you want to live your life, some things you want to achieve by a certain moment in time. If this is related to the earnings, then think about, okay, well, what is that and how will I deliver it? It goes back to those targets. If you start thinking about, well, if I just get 2 big clients in, then I can earn X, Y, Z, things start to feel achievable, and your number 2, what do you want to earn, might actually start to feel more possible. Number 3 is thinking about value to customer. What are you offering to people? Is it saving people money? Is it saving people time? How much are you really delivering for them? What's their return on investment? And if you start to think about that and set that against the price you offer, it might help shape your thinking on how you approach your costs. It will give you confidence as well, because the more that value and the more you can give to someone, the higher price that you can charge. The 4th bit is who is paying. This is a really crucial one. Is it personal expenditure or is it business expense? If you're B2C and you're hoping that someone pays out of their own personal funding, that's a much harder sell. You have to really sell the value. You have to do lots of relationship building to perhaps convince them that they want to spend money with you rather than a whole host of other things that they might be doing in their personal life, going to the gym, entertaining, family, food. You know, you could be up against all of that. So if it's a B2C offer, you have to really think hard about the value and then your competition within the lifestyle that they're living. It's not direct competition. So say if you're a personal trainer, your competition isn't just another personal trainer. Your competition is actually the supermarket shop, or it could be buying clothes, or it could be going to the cinema. You know, that X amount of money that they're going to spend per month, is it with you or is it something else? Business expense is about return on investment. And if you've done your bit on the point 3 about value to customer, you can make it as easy as possible for someone to either claim it on expenses or put through your business at cost. But you have to position all of your marketing around value to business, return on investment. Number 5, around competition and market. Now, we've already talked about this a little bit around doing your research on what's already out there. What are people charging? But I wouldn't say match it like for like. You've got to stay in your own lane. You've got to do what you think is right. And depending on where you're at your moment in time, you can't price yourself against someone who's been doing what you want to do and they've been doing it for 10 years. They've already built a network, they've established their brand, they're out there. So you've got to position yourself in a way that will make people interested and they'll start buying from you. but it'll also make you feel confident about your position in the market. Number 6 is around influences. So this is a really interesting one, and it's probably more around mindset. What you earned last year, or whenever you last worked in a full-time corporate job, don't match it like for like. Don't think, well, I earned £50,000 a year, and therefore that's what I'm going to earn in this new way. Go back to number 1 about what do you need? What's the baseline of what you need to earn each month? Forget salary. Corporate salaries have so much wrapped into them, as you know. If you've been going through redundancy, you've got all that in your contract. You know, your pensions, your benefits. They might have share schemes, bonuses. All of that stuff is all wrapped up. You'll be taxed in a different way. So you can't do like for like. You need to think very differently about how you think about your salary and what you earn each month. Final bit I've touched on is around building in holidays, sick pay, tax, pension. Now, if you're a solopreneur, you've got to cover all that. So build that into your pricing. And by that, I don't mean build it in terms of you put it on your brief. I mean just into your costs. Tell people what you want to charge. And the way that you can charge people is in various ways: daily rate, an hourly rate, a project rate, program rate, or workshop or event price. Think about hourly rate carefully. This sometimes can mean that you start working more hours than perhaps you did in corporate than you did. Day rates are useful when you're doing interim or contract work. And project rates are great if you can break it down and show people what value you're delivering. Let's quickly explore how you can deliver. So here are some ideas for how you can deliver your expertise. Talked a bit about business to business, or whether it's business to consumer. You can go in-house consultancy. You could deliver workshops on your expertise, and that could be in-house, or it could be your own individual events. You could run programs. You could do speaking gigs. You could be a curator, where you're bringing other people into your messaging to help get it out there. Again, think about that, and we'll go into it in a minute when we go through the kind of planning. Just choose 1 or 2 things that you start to talk about how you deliver, but don't leave it up to the imagination of your customers to decide that for you. So don't kind of go and say, right, I'm a copywriter and I'll help you write stuff. That might be okay, and if you're doing great blogs and things like that, then that's fine. Some people might approach you, but be more specific around, I can come in to your business for a day, I will work with you on a workshop from blah blah, and you will get this for it. So if you're very specific about what you're offering and how you're delivering it, then it makes it easier for people to decide if that's right for them. Right, clients. Again, if you've done some of the other community modules, you'll be familiar with this, but let's whiz through clients. Who are they? Where are they? Where are they hanging out right now? Who are the people you want to work with? What are they doing now instead of using your service? So you're not out there at the moment, so what are they doing instead? And then why will they buy from you? What's your unique selling point? Or what's your position that will make them think, I want what you're selling rather than what somebody else is? The other thing to think about is, why won't they? And again, this might be a scary list. It might put you off, but don't let it put you off. It's just the practical things that might go through people's minds that you can then work through in some of your marketing and messaging to help people make a decision to go with you. Be in their shoes. So spend time really thinking about things from their perspective. Think about your tone of your messaging. Think about what their problems are and their busy desk or their busy lives. Where do you fit into that? If your messaging is preachy and lectury and it's kind of like telling somebody off, it might feel good for you, and especially if you're on a mission, you might feel like, this is what I've got to get out here, but people will shut down. So put yourself in people's shoes when you write your messages and really think about, How do you draw them in? How do you make them feel like you're on their side? You understand what they're going through. You get it. And the last bit is do some research. Not only will it help you start getting out there and gathering really rich content and information to help to develop your business, but it will start signaling to people that you're serious about this, and it'll start helping you to curate content which is really relevant. So something like a Survey Monkey on your topic, to start spreading that around, that link, and saying, look guys, I'm starting a new business, this is some things I'm interested in. People love to share their opinions, and they love to be part of something that's exciting and growing. So it's a really good way to kick off what you're doing. Start the research. You don't need to know all the answers right now. In fact, you shouldn't know all the answers right now. You should grow with your clients. So I'm whizzing through this. How fast can we go? I'm trying to get this under half an hour. I'm not sure if we will, but let's keep going. I don't want to lose you. This is all good stuff. Right, getting started. Some real basics here. Don't need a logo. Don't spend time on doing a logo. Don't spend time on a website. And don't spend time setting up all of the social media platforms at the moment. Right now, at the beginning, think about clients, customers, the bit that we talked about. Start just getting messages out there. If you're already on some social platforms already, like perhaps LinkedIn and Facebook, that's just use what you've got to start talking about what you're doing. Target events and networks that are already set up that are very similar to what you might be doing. Google local events, or look on Eventbrite, or Meetup is a great app for events locally to you. And start to try and meet people who are in the similar industry and look in what's going on. Do all that before you invest in infrastructure. The only thing I'd say is useful is perhaps business cards when you start talking to people or meeting people. But again, keep it really simple. If you go onto the Moo website, which is a great little printing business service, you can get some really nice, clean business cards which look really professional. They just have your name on, what you're doing, and your email, and that's fine. It just gets things started. You could even put some questions on the back of your business card rather than it being just about business. So say if you're helping, if you're setting up as a life coach, you could just put a few questions on the back of your business card saying, have you ever thought about there could be a different way? Have you, do you sit at your desk thinking, is this it? Something like that, that the card helps to create questions, and then they've got contact details on the other side. So I would kind of say park the logo and the website stuff at the moment, even though that's the kind of nice stuff, and start to build around your audience and your client first. This other side of the list is the practical stuff. Oh God, we have to talk admin and all that stuff. Are you going to be a sole trader? Are you going to be a limited company? What I would say is get an accountant, and if you can, an accountant that specializes in startup. You will need an accountancy system like Xero or Sage or QuickBooks. And once you're up and running on them, they probably cost about £25 a month. They're quite easy to then navigate around all of your invoicing and your receipts and expenses and things like that. With that, I would say put out half a day to set it up and just play with it. Hopefully your accountant will help you with it, but don't be put off by some of the applications that are out there. Think about a payment system and how you're going to get paid. So for example, I use Stripe with my invoicing system, which is Xero. So Xero, I can invoice people. It runs through Stripe, which is a payment system, and it goes into my business bank account. Business bank account, you can set up, you can go to your personal bank and ask if they have a business option, or you can look at some of the smaller startup business banks that are specifically for startups, things like Starling or Wave. I use Starling, which is great. Have a look around. I think there's Tide as well. Have a look around and ask other people what they're using. There's lots of great business banks. And the final bit is contracts. There's lots of people who will help you with contracts or templates for contracts. You don't need to spend lots of money to do it, but you do need a basic contract in place once you start trading. Right. A little bit about managing expectations. So I'm hoping that by now you're like, yeah, okay, I've got some ideas. I think I can do this. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to start talking to people. So managing expectations is really a key moment in time for you right now. Free work. Right. Yes, you might have to do a bit of free work at the beginning for some testimonials or to test some things that you're doing. It depends on how much, how much it's a big disruptor thing you're doing, or if it's people know what they're going to get from you. But either way, you might need to do free work. I would still make it really clear, if you do free work with people, what you're offering, and approach it as if you are getting paid for it. So create a brief, be really clear on what you will do and what you won't do. And I would talk to them about, this is what I would be charging once I'm fully up and running. So everybody knows exactly where they're at. There's none of that awkwardness when people are constantly asking you for more and more and more, and it's all for free. When you start your business, it's really awkward to try and, especially friends and family, to try and help them and get yourself out there, and that fine balance between bringing in the money. You're now a business. You now going to have to think CEO of your business and start making money. So free work, yes, but just manage that really carefully. If you have got people approaching you and saying, I'm really interested in what you're doing, whilst you're chatting to them about the brief and getting that information about what they're doing, don't be afraid to ask them how much they spend on things and what their budget is. Now, you could do it by framing it as part of your research. So you say, right, I'm doing some work on this new wellness program I have, and I'm really interested in how much money you spend a year on this kind of thing. I would look to help you in this way to get some, testimonials from you, but I'm interested. So don't be afraid to ask the question about how much people are prepared to pay. The next bit is around brief. Always do a brief outline of what you will do. I've put down here what's included and what's not is really important. The scope of what you're doing is really important. Don't make it pages and pages. 1 page brief of what you do and what you'll deliver for somebody. And again, I've put here phases is great. So phase 1 will be XYZ, phase 2, XYZ. And if it's a free, you could put in the brief, this is how much the value of this is X. The next bit is a proposal. So once you've got your brief and you've sent that to somebody to have a look at, and they come back to you and they say, great, I'd like to know a bit more about the proposal of how we do it. This is perhaps where you could charge. The proposal will take work because you'll need to do research specific to the brief, that what you've said you do for them and what they've said they want from you. And a proposal will have a bit more in it. Now, this is where lots of agencies and freelancers get caught out a lot, because you do all of this work in a proposal. It's taking you perhaps a day to do it. You send it to the business and then they say, oh no, we decided not to do it now. And you've lost a whole day of work. So if you're working on the bespoke or the off-the-shelf model, if you're in the off-the-shelf, you perhaps can reduce the amount of time you're working on it by using something that perhaps you've done before and tweaking it. It's one way to keep costs down and for you to lose that. But it depends on value to business. If there's a big project that you're pitching for and it's very bespoke, it's obviously worth putting in those couple of days to get your proposal really tip-top, so that you will win that one big client that you need. So it's all about balance. How much is this contract worth to you versus how much work you've got to put in? And it's the same for free work. How much is this free work that you're giving away, if you meet someone for a coffee or, that kind of thing, how much is it worth to you? What are you going to get back from it? Be really clear and be really strong. This is your business now. I'm talking from experience of giving away way too much at the beginning for free. Now I'm really clear on what I do give away for free and what I'm looking for from it and what I don't. A work schedule, again, will really help that detail. Once you get the client agrees and they want to work with you, put a really clear work schedule together. It will really help everybody understand where you're at and how much you get charged, and it will leave no awkwardness of when a bill is coming in and how much it's going to be for. Right, that's managing expectations. So I've got you already up and running and you're out there and you've got clients, which is very exciting. Let's have a quick look at some plans that you can use to help you really hone in on what you're doing. So your solopreneur plan. What's your expertise? What's the problem you're solving and who is it for? Those are the 3 top things that you need to think about and really work on and be absolutely clear. People will call it niching, or they'll call it, you use personas and all that kind of stuff, to be really clear on what you're about and who is it for. Think about why they choose you. You could use your story, you could use your background, you could use your passion or your mission. You could, if you've done your research, you could use your research. But whatever you're doing, this is your moment to be the authority and the expert in it. The next bit is how you deliver your product or your service. Will you be a consultant going in-house? Will you be a workshop, an event? Are you a one-to-one? Are you online? Think about how you deliver it and choose just 1 or 2 things at the beginning that they're the only options for somebody to work with you. If people ask for a different option, that's great. But in terms of publicity and marketing, it's easier to keep to 1 or 2 things. And then, where are your clients hanging out? So we did that bit of work around audience and what are they doing? What are they reading? What are they thinking about? Who are they using now to solve their problem? And the final bit is, how do I reach them? My advice would be, focus on 1 or 2 social media platforms. Don't try and do them all. Try and do 1 or 2 really well. Get up and running, and then you can then grow when you've got time and you get your rhythm. First steps. So do some research. Use some focus groups or SurveyMonkey or a poll or something like that to just put yourself out there. It's a really easy way of getting your message out there that you're doing something different, and you can get content from it. You can use the content from surveys to then start writing about what you've heard and your opinions, and it can last you 3 to 6 months. In fact, it can last you all year if you're very clever. You can start doing this annually. Then your message, start writing about what you're doing and sharing interesting articles, making comments on it. I said you didn't need to set up a website to do this. Blogging, you can either set up a blogging platform, there's lots out there, or even Medium. If you look into Medium, it's very easy to set up a page on Medium and start writing about your topics. Journalists are often on Medium trying to find new angles on things, so it's a great place to be. You can just post your opinions on your already created network, or you can set up 1 or 2 social media. But even in doing so, say if you set up an Instagram account, that's publicity in itself. You can use that as a moment to say, right, this is what this is all about. I'm on a mission to change something. Use it as an opportunity to bring other people into your discussion. The other thing you can do is try and find events to showcase what you're doing, or even just being an attendee is a great step forward. You can get out there and start talking to people and saying, this is what I'm thinking about, and you'll start to gather contacts. Final bit in the first steps is think about a beta or trial offer. I've put trail here. That's not good. Anyway, let's ignore that and we'll move on. Oh my God, I'm a human. That's amazing. Oh, it's really bugging me. I don't like spelling errors. Anyway, trail offer. Something like a workshop or an online course or a webinar or something that you can start talking about, but in a beta form. So again, you can be really transparent and say, look, this is new. This is what I'm really interested in. I've got so much to share on this, but make it 2-way. I found that the most successful things that I've done have been bringing people into the discussion, asking them, well, what would you do? What's your opinion? And you're adding value to them, but you're asking them to get involved. And each time add value. Keep going back to that ROI. How are you helping them get a return on their investment? So those are the first steps that I would advise. Get you out there. And then you set yourself your 3-month plan. What are your key focuses? What's the price that you'll be charging? And what's the target? What's your revenue target? What's your number of clients target? How many people do you want to have spoken to? How many people do you want in your network? Whatever it is, write it down in terms. These are really simple plans, by the way. You can do big business plans. Again, the community has these big business plans that you can do, but I'm trying to keep it simple just to get you up and running. The reason why price and target is important is because if you're going from corporate to setting up freelance, you might just be always in your mind around how much you need to earn to keep this going before you have a wobble and think, oh God, I can't do this. I need to just apply for a permanent. So if you map out your next 3 months and you make it really clear on what's the price you're charging and how much do you need to, how many clients or what do you need to do to earn that, it will start to make it feel possible. And the bit that we all like to do. So in 3 months' time, fast forward, you've done all of this stuff. What have you achieved? I have. What have you done? Have you set up your business? Have you gained a few new clients? Have you run some free trials on what you're doing? Write down now what you want to have achieved, your wildest imaginations, and how it will feel, and how did you do it? Doing this piece of work now and working backwards, create this plan. It will really make it feel like you're going to do it. I hope I've inspired you to think a bit differently about your twist. Even if you just went out there and did some stuff now and tried some freelance and tried some consultancy or taken on some project work, just give it a go. You never know where it might end, and it's not the biggest disaster if you do end up thinking, actually, I do just want to go back and get a permanent job. There's a lot to be said about that. But if it's on your mind and you're thinking it's something you might want to do, why not give it a go? I hope this has helped. Drop me an email if you want any more information, and good luck.